James and Zara stepped aside for a moment, seeking a moment of peace amid the chaos. The air was thick with the scent of the forest, and the distant sounds of the Luminaris chanting filled the atmosphere with an aura of hope. "Do you think we'll win?" James asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Zara tilted her head, considering his question. "I believe we will, but it won't be easy. Xandar is powerful, and his forces are relentless." "I know," James replied, "but we have something he doesn't, a purpose. A connection to Viridian that fuels our fight. We're fighting for something bigger than ourselves." Zara's eyes sparkled with a mixture of admiration and warmth. "You have a way of seeing the silver lining, James." "It gives me strength." James felt his heart race at her words, and for a moment, the weight of the impending battle slipped away. He leaned in closer, his voice low. "Zara, I want you to know how much you mean to me. This journey has changed everything, and I can't imagine facing any of this without you." Zara's cheeks flushed as she looked up at him, the connection between them intensifying. "I feel the same way. You've become so important to me, more than I ever thought possible." Before they could delve deeper into their feelings, Eldra's voice rang out, pulling them back to reality. "We must move. The longer we wait, the stronger Xandar's forces become." Reluctantly, James and Zara joined the others, the weight of their unspoken words lingering in the air. The tribe gathered their supplies and weapons, a mixture of luminescent blades and shields forged from the heartwood of ancient trees, shimmering in the moonlight. As they made their way through the bioluminescent forest, the atmosphere shifted. The once vibrant colors dimmed, the sounds of the forest fading into an eerie silence. A tension hung in the air, palpable and heavy. "Stay alert," Eldra warned, her voice steady. Xandar's forces could be lurking anywhere. The group moved cautiously, the glow of the heart of Viridian guiding their path. James felt the weight of responsibility settle upon him as they approached the clearing, where they would confront Xandar. Each step felt heavier, the anticipation building in his chest. Suddenly, a rustle in the underbrush caught James's attention. He glanced back, his heart racing. "Did you hear that?" Zara nodded, her expression serious. "We're not alone." Eldra raised her hand, signaling for silence. The group halted, straining their ears to catch any sounds. A low growl echoed through the trees, sending a shiver down James's spine. "Form a line," Eldra commanded. "Prepare for an ambush." The Luminaris tribe quickly fell into formation, their weapons ready. James and Zara stood side by side, adrenaline coursing through their veins. They could see shadows moving among the trees, the tension crackling in the air. Out of the darkness, Xandar's guards emerged, their armor glinting ominously in the dim light. The leader, a towering figure clad in dark metal, stepped forward, his eyes gleaming with malice. "Fools," he sneered. "You think you can challenge Xandar? You're nothing but a blip in the grand scheme of power. Power isn't everything," Zara replied, her voice unwavering. "We fight for our home, for the spirit of Viridian." The guard laughed, a cold, cruel sound that echoed through the forest. "You think sentiment will save you? You're mistaken." As he finished speaking, the guards lunged forward, a blur of dark shapes against the glowing backdrop of the forest. James's heart raced as he took a defensive stance beside Zara, their bond growing stronger in the face of danger. "Now," Eldra shouted, leading the charge. The Luminaris tribe surged forward, the clash of weapons echoing through the trees. James fought alongside Zara, their movements synchronized as they defended against the onslaught of Xandar's guards. The forest came alive with the sounds of battle, the air thick with energy as the heart of Viridian pulsed in rhythm with their fight. In the chaos, James caught glimpses of Zara, her determination shining brightly as she fought fiercely. He felt a rush of admiration for her bravery, and the connection they shared deepened with every swing of their weapons. As the battle raged on, James felt the tide shifting. "We can't let them overwhelm us. Focus on their leader," he shouted, rallying the tribe. Eldra nodded, her presence a beacon of strength as they pressed forward. Together, they fought as one, the spirit of Viridian guiding their every move. The clash of metal against metal rang in the air, and James pushed himself harder, adrenaline fueling his resolve. They would protect their home, no matter the cost. Amid the fray, Zara caught James's gaze, her expression fierce and determined. "We can do this," she shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos. "Yes," James replied, feeling a surge of energy as they pressed forward together. Their bond grew stronger with every passing moment, fueling their fight against the darkness that threatened to consume Viridian. As the battle reached its peak, the air crackled with energy. The Luminaris tribe pushed back against Xandar's forces, their resolve unyielding. With every swing of their weapons and every chant for the heart of Viridian, they fought for their home, their people, and for each other. The battle raged on, echoing through the forest as the Luminaris tribe and Xandar's forces clashed. James felt the intensity of the fight surrounding him, adrenaline coursing through his veins as he fought alongside Zara, each swing of their weapons driving them closer to victory. But as the tide of battle swayed, James couldn't shake the feeling that the true test was yet to come. In the center of the chaos, Eldra continued to rally the tribe, her voice ringing clear above the din. "Focus your energy. We are the guardians of Viridian. Together, we are stronger." James and Zara fought back to back, their movements fluid as they defended against the relentless assault. Each time James caught a glimpse of Zara's fierce determination, his heart swelled with pride and admiration. They were fighting for more than just survival. They were fighting for each other. But then, amidst the clash of weapons and shouts of battle, a shadow loomed over them. Xandar himself stepped forward, his presence commanding as he surveyed the battlefield. His dark armor glinted ominously in the bioluminescent light, and his cold gaze locked onto James and Zara. "Foolish children," he sneered, his voice dripping with disdain. "You think you can defy me? I am the master of this realm." James's heart raced as he exchanged glances with Zara. This was the moment they had prepared for, the confrontation they had to face. "We won't let you destroy Viridian," James shouted, stepping forward to confront Xandar. Xandar laughed, a chilling sound that sent shivers down James's spine. "You think your resolve means anything? Your home will fall, and your spirits will be crushed." With a wave of his hand, Xandar unleashed a surge of dark energy that rippled through the clearing, causing the ground to tremble. James felt the force push against him, a wave of fear washing over him. But as he looked to Zara, he saw her unwavering determination. "We can't give in?" she shouted, her voice cutting through the fear. "Remember the heart of Viridian. Its power is with us." James nodded, feeling the connection between them deepen. "Together," he affirmed, stepping closer to her side, "we can harness the spirit of Viridian." As Xandar advanced, James and Zara reached for each other's hands, their energy intertwining. The heart of Viridian pulsed brightly behind them, the ancient spirits of the forest awakening in response to their bond.
"Feel the energy,"
Zara called out, her eyes shining with determination. "We are the guardians of this land." The Luminaris tribe rallied behind them, the air crackling with power as they formed a protective circle around the heart. With every chant and incantation, their collective energy surged forward, the glowing light intensifying in the darkness. Xandar faltered for a moment, surprise crossing his features as he felt the strength of their unity. "No, you cannot. This is my domain," he roared, attempting to push through the barrier of light. But James and Zara stood firm, channeling their energy into the heart. "We fight for our home," James shouted, feeling the resonance of their combined power building. "We fight for each other." With a final push, they released their energy, sending a brilliant wave of light cascading toward Xandar. The energy struck him with the force of 1,000 suns, illuminating the clearing and engulfing him in radiant brilliance. The darkness that had once surrounded him dissipated, replaced by the vibrant glow of the heart of Viridian. Xandar's scream echoed through the forest as the light consumed him, the shadows retreating in defeat. As the light faded, the battlefield fell silent. The Luminaris tribe stood together, their breaths heavy but triumphant. They had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, the heart of Viridian still pulsing strong behind them. Eldra stepped forward, her expression filled with pride. "You have shown great courage, not only in battle but in your connection to each other in this land. Together, we have defended Viridian against the darkness." James looked at Zara, their eyes meeting with unspoken understanding. They had faced the storm together, their bond forged in the heat of battle. "We did it," he said, his voice filled with awe. Zara smiled, her eyes sparkling with relief and joy. We did it together. The tribe began to celebrate, laughter and cheers ringing through the forest as they embraced their victory. But amid the celebration, James felt a tug at his heart. The fight was won, but there were still questions lingering in the air. As the festivities continued, Eldra approached James and Zara, her expression serious. We must remain vigilant. Xandar was only a fragment of the darkness that lurks in the universe. There will be others who seek to claim Viridian for themselves. James nodded, understanding the weight of her words. We'll protect our home. Together. And we'll face whatever comes next, Zara added, her hand intertwining with his once more. We're stronger together. As the celebration continued, James felt a sense of peace settle over him. The bond between him and Zara had grown beyond anything he had imagined. They had fought for their home, for their people, and for each other. And in that moment, he realized that the journey was far from over. In the distance, a soft glow began to rise above the horizon, hinting at the adventures yet to come. As they stood together, hand in hand, they looked toward the future, ready to embrace whatever challenges awaited them. The heart of Viridian pulsed gently behind them, a reminder of their strength and the spirit of the land they had fought to protect. With their connection forged in the heat of battle, James and Zara were prepared to face the next chapter of their story, together. The tranquility that followed their victory over Xandar was short-lived. Viridian, though free from the immediate threat, still held secrets and shadows that had yet to reveal themselves. James and Zara spent the following days walking the paths of the forest, their bond deepening as they spoke of the past, the future, and the lingering tension in the air. As they passed through the ancient trees, they noticed something strange. The glowing bioluminescence that had once symbolized the heart of Viridian seemed dimmer. The gentle hum of energy that had always surrounded them felt muted, like the forest itself was holding its breath. Do you feel that? James asked, breaking the silence between them. Zara nodded, her brow furrowed in concern. The forest is uneasy. Something is coming. Something different. Eldra had warned them that Xandar was not the only threat lurking in the universe, but they had hoped for a reprieve, time to rebuild, to heal. Yet, the very air around them felt charged with an unspoken warning. The two of them quickened their pace, heading back to the heart of the Luminaris camp. As they arrived, Eldra stood waiting for them, her face grim. The heart of Viridian is losing its light, she said without preamble. It is as I feared. Though Xandar is gone, the darkness he served is not. We face a new enemy, one that is ancient and far more dangerous. James felt a chill run down his spine. What is it? What are we dealing with? Eldra gestured toward the sky, where faint, flickering stars could be seen even in the daylight. The universe is vast, and many powerful forces exist that seek to control or consume. Xandar was a pawn, a servant to a greater master. The entity he served is known as the Devourer. It is said to feed on the life force of entire planets, draining their energy until nothing remains but a hollow shell. Zara's eyes widened. And it's coming for Viridian? Eldra nodded gravely. It senses the heart's power. The Devourer will stop at nothing to claim it. The weight of the news settled over them like a heavy cloak. They had fought so hard to protect Viridian from Xandar, and now they were facing an even greater threat. James clenched his fists. We can't let that happen. There has to be something we can do. Eldra's eyes softened with resolve. There may be a way. Legends speak of an ancient weapon, a force strong enough to repel even the Devourer, but it has been lost to time, hidden in the deepest reaches of the universe. If you choose to seek it, it will be a perilous journey, one from which you may not return. Zara stepped forward without hesitation. We'll go. If there's even a chance to save Viridian, we have to try. James nodded, his heart pounding with determination. Where do we start? Eldra's gaze turned to the horizon, her expression unreadable. There is one who knows of this weapon, a being called Elysia, who resides on the planet Nethera. But be warned, she is not easily persuaded. She guards her knowledge fiercely and may not give it freely. James exchanged a look with Zara. We'll make her see that Viridian is worth saving. As they prepared to depart, a sense of urgency pushed them forward. The fate of their home, and perhaps even the galaxy, rested on their shoulders. Together, they set off on a new journey, one that would take them to the farthest corners of the universe and test the limits of their strength, courage, and love. The journey to Nethara was long and fraught with danger. Their ship, though advanced by human standards, felt small and vulnerable in the vastness of space. Zara's knowledge of interstellar travel and James's unyielding resolve kept them on course, but each passing moment carried the weight of what was to come. The planet of Nethara appeared on the horizon, a swirling mass of green and gold, its atmosphere rich with storms and chaotic energy. As they descended into its turbulent skies, the ship buckled under the pressure. Zara's hands moved deftly over the controls, steering them through the worst of the storm with practiced ease. They landed on a barren plateau, the only visible landmark in the midst of an endless, windswept landscape. The air was thick with tension, and James could feel the pulse of something powerful beneath the surface. "This place gives me the creeps," James muttered as they disembarked. Zara nodded, scanning the horizon. "Elysia is here. I can feel it." They made their way across the desolate landscape, their steps slow and cautious. In the distance, a towering structure rose from the ground, an ancient temple, its stone walls etched with glowing symbols. It was unlike anything James had ever seen, a relic of a civilization long forgotten. As they approached the temple, a figure appeared at the entrance. She was tall and ethereal, with silver skin and eyes that shimmered like stars. Her presence was commanding, and James felt an overwhelming sense of awe and reverence. "You seek the weapon," Elysia said, her voice echoing through the temple like a distant memory. James stepped forward, his heart pounding. "We do. Viridian is in danger. The Devourer is coming, and we need your help to stop it." Elysia's gaze flickered over them, her expression unreadable. "Many have come before you, seeking the same thing. None have succeeded." Zara stepped forward, her voice steady. "We're not like the others. We have the heart of Viridian on our side." Elysia's eyes narrowed slightly. "The heart of Viridian is powerful, but it alone cannot stop the Devourer. The weapon you seek is no ordinary tool. It requires more than strength to wield. It requires a bond, a connection that transcends the physical." James exchanged a glance with Zara, understanding dawning between them. They had forged that bond in battle, in shared purpose, in the depth of their feelings for each other. "We have that bond," James said, his voice firm. "We're ready." Elysia studied them for a long moment before turning away, leading them deeper into the temple. "We shall see." The temple's inner chambers were vast and filled with relics of an ancient past. At the center of the room stood a pedestal, and atop it, a glowing orb of pure energy pulsed with life. This was the weapon, the key to defeating the Devourer. But as they approached, Elysia stopped them. "To claim it, you must prove your bond is unbreakable. Step forward together, and let your spirits merge with the weapon. Only then will it accept you." James and Zara hesitated for only a moment before stepping forward, hand in hand. As they reached out to touch the orb, a surge of energy shot through them, connecting their minds, hearts, and souls in ways they had never imagined. Their love, their unity, their shared purpose all flowed into the weapon. The orb glowed brighter, and for a moment, time seemed to stand still. Then, with a blinding flash of light, the energy was absorbed into them, merging with their very being. Elysia watched silently, her expression unreadable. "The weapon is yours," she said at last. "But remember, the power to wield it lies within your connection to each other. Do not falter, for the Devourer will test you in ways you cannot yet comprehend." James and Zara nodded, the weight of their responsibility settling over them. They had the weapon, but the battle was far from over. Together, they turned back toward their ship, ready to face the ultimate challenge. The future was uncertain, but as long as they stood side by side, they knew they could face whatever darkness awaited them. As James and Zara returned to Viridian with the ancient weapon now part of their very essence, the planet's situation had worsened. The heart of Viridian, the planet's core source of power, flickered weakly, its once vibrant glow now fading. It was clear that time was running out. The Devourer emerged from the horizon, its massive form consuming the sky. It was unlike anything James or Zara had ever seen, an enormous, swirling entity of darkness and energy. its tendrils reaching out like hungry arms seeking to consume all life. The ground quaked beneath its presence, and the very air seemed to bend under the weight of its power. Eldra stood beside them, her face pale but resolute. The heart of Viridian is all that stands between the devourer and the end of everything. You must protect it at all costs. James and Zara nodded, their hands glowing with the power of the weapon they now shared. Together, they stepped forward, facing the devourer as it descended upon them. The creature's first strike was swift, a massive tendril of darkness lashing out toward the heart of Viridian. But James and Zara moved as one, their combined strength deflecting the blow. Energy crackled in the air as their power clashed with the devourer's. "Stay focused," Zara shouted, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. James could feel the strain of the battle already, but he pushed it aside. He couldn't afford to falter. Not now. With a deep breath, he and Zara unleashed a blast of energy toward the devourer, the weapon's power surging through them. The devourer roared in response, its form shifting and warping as it absorbed the blow. It lashed out again, and again, each strike more powerful than the last. But James and Zara held their ground, their bond with the weapon growing stronger with each passing moment. Behind them, the people of Viridian fought bravely, defending the heart from the devourer's lesser tendrils. The battle raged on, the sky filled with flashes of light and darkness as the two forces clashed. For what felt like an eternity, James and Zara fought, their every movement in perfect sync. But as the battle wore on, they could feel the devourer's power growing. It was relentless, an unstoppable force that seemed to feed on their every attack. "We're not getting through to it," James muttered, his voice tight with frustration. Zara's eyes narrowed. "There has to be a way. We're missing something." In the midst of the chaos, Eldra's voice cut through the noise. "The heart. Use the heart's power." James and Zara exchanged a glance, understanding dawning between them. The heart of Viridian was the key. Its energy was the only thing powerful enough to stop the devourer. But to harness that energy, they would have to risk everything. "We'll do it together," Zara said, her voice filled with determination. James nodded. Together. With a deep breath, they turned toward the heart of Viridian. Its flickering light pulsed weakly, but as they reached out with their combined power, the heart responded. Energy flowed into them, filling them with a strength they had never known. The devourer roared as they unleashed the full power of the heart, their bond with the weapon amplifying the energy. The ground shook, and the air crackled with electricity as the blast of light and energy collided with the devourer. For a moment, the world seemed to stop. The devourer writhed and twisted, its form disintegrating under the force of the heart's power. With a final, deafening roar, the creature collapsed, its dark energy dissipating into the air. Silence fell over the battlefield. The heart of Viridian pulsed brightly once more, its energy restored. The people of Viridian cheered, their voices rising in triumph. The devourer was defeated. James and Zara stood together, their hands still glowing with the remnants of the heart's power. They had done it, they had saved Viridian. But as they looked out over the horizon, they knew their journey wasn't over. The devourer had been defeated, but the universe was vast, and other threats still lingered in the shadows. For now, though, they would savor this victory. Together, they had faced the impossible and emerged stronger than ever, and whatever came next, they would face it side by side. The people of Viridian gathered in the Luminaris camp, their eyes filled with fear and uncertainty. Eldra stood at the front, her face lined with worry. News of the devourer's approach spread quickly, and even with the weapon in hand, no one knew if it would be enough. Zara and James descended from their ship, the tension palpable in the air. Zara addressed the crowd, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "We've returned with what we need to fight the devourer," she said, her gaze sweeping over the people. "But this won't be an easy battle. The devourer isn't just coming for the heart of Viridian. It's coming for all of us." A murmur of fear spread through the crowd, but James stepped forward, his voice calm and commanding. "We have the weapon, but it's not enough on its own. We need all of you. Together, we can fight back and protect our home." The crowd seemed uncertain, but Eldra stepped forward, her voice carrying the weight of leadership. They speak the truth. Viridian has survived countless challenges throughout its history, and we've always come together in times of need. Now is no different. We must stand united. James and Zara could feel the crowd's energy shifting. The people of Viridian were afraid, but they were also resilient. They had faced hardships before and survived. This time would be no different, even if the threat was unlike anything they had ever faced. As preparations began, James and Zara retreated to the edge of the camp, their connection stronger than ever. They could sense each other's thoughts, their minds and hearts linked in a way that transcended words. The bond they had forged was more than just a tool for the fight ahead. It was a lifeline. "We can do this," James said quietly, looking at Zara. "I know it." Zara nodded, but her eyes reflected the weight of what was to come. "I believe in us. But the Devourer, it's beyond anything we've ever encountered. We have to be ready for anything." Together, they prepared for the coming battle, their every movement in sync. The energy of the weapon flowed through them, filling them with a sense of power and unity. But beneath it all, there was the unspoken fear that even their bond might not be enough. As the sky darkened, the ground began to tremble, and the first signs of the Devourer's approach became visible. A massive shadow loomed on the horizon, blotting out the stars. The air grew thick, charged with a dark energy that made the very ground pulse with unease. "It's here," Zara whispered, her voice barely audible. James nodded, his heart pounding in his chest. This is it. The people of Viridian gathered behind them, weapons in hand, their faces a mixture of determination and fear. The luminary stood at the forefront, ready to protect their world at any cost. As the shadow grew larger, James and Zara stepped forward, their bond with the weapon glowing brightly in the gathering darkness. This was the moment they had been preparing for, the moment where everything would be decided.